If you are new to the channel, then subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for further notification.
Okay student, welcome you all to this new lecture in power system series. So today again we will be solving 5 questions starting from question number 181 to up to question number 185. Okay, then let's try to solve these questions. Okay, in question number 181 it is asked, the power system consists of two areas, area 1 and area 2, connected by a single tie line. It is required to carry out load flow study for this system. While entering the system data, the tie line, that is the connectivity and the parameter, is inadvertently left out. That is by mistake it is left out. Between area 1, what is tie line? So the line area, this is area 1, this is area 2. So the line which connects these two, that is your tie line. So this has missed. So by mistake you have not given input to this. That means the system, whatever input you have given in the load flow study, it is assuming these two areas are separate areas. So there is no link between these two. Okay. If the load flow program is run with this incomplete data, okay, the load flow will converge if the slack bus is specified in area 1, which converge in slack bus. So this gives you the idea of what is the importance of slack bus. Why we consider one bus as a slack bus, one generator bus as a slack bus, and rest of the other generator bus we have fixed the P, and load is also fixed the P. In load also we fix the P, load buses in generator. So total generation, total load and total generation, by far you have given already balanced it, but before load flow you don't know what will be the losses in the line. There may be losses, there will be losses in the line, in these losses, power losses, but before load flow how come you know? Because if you don't know how much power is flowing through this, that is how much current, then you don't know how much power losses is there, because losses is directly proportional to the power you are sending. So before you solve your power flow you don't know the what is loss. So after you solve whatever the mismatch, that may be loss, that may be little bit less in generation, so all these things, whatever extra generation is needed, that will be taken care of the slack bus, because slack bus P is unknown. So P will come from this, whatever unbalanced items left over will be, all that will be given in the slack bus. That is like a dustbin, you can say. It can generate any number of P. So that is the importance of slack bus. So without slack bus you can't, your load flow will not converge, because you don't know the what is loss. You have fixed P, you have fixed load also, generation P also, load also. So from where the losses will come? So it will not be balanced anytime, because your load flow will give you some P, but you have not considered that P. Although you have, if you have considered also, you don't know the what is the exact P. After calculating that exact P, you will that generation is not coming, because you have not kept any slack bus. So load flow will converge if it is in specified area. So suppose you are doing load flow for area 1. So if there is slack bus in area 1, then this load flow will converge. But this in area 2 you don't have any slack bus, so it will not converge. But you are taking whole at a time, whole system you are doing load flow, but that will not converge if you are only having in area 1, because there is no connectivity, because there is no slack bus in area 2. Then from where the losses or mismatch power will come from, because you have not given this tie line also. If the tie line had been there, so if one slack bus would have been, so the excess power that is required would have been supplied by the slack bus via through this line. So the load flow will not converge if only one slack bus is there. If only one slack, if two slack buses are there, suppose one is area 1, one is area 2, then it may converge, because in that case then it will converge, because in that case the excess power required for area 1 will be supplied by that slack bus, and the excess power that is required after load flow will be supplied by the area 1. So that's the importance of this one. So it is option D now. So load flow will not converge if only one slack bus is specified. Next, in a power system consists of 300 buses, out of which 20 buses are generator buses. Okay, 25 buses are one with reactive power support, 15 are with fixed capacitor, all other are load buses. The proposed algorithm to perform a load flow analysis in the system using NR method, the size of the NR Jacobian matrix. So first let me write what are the buses are there. First you go for load buses, all are load buses except that 300 out of 325 is with 20 is with generator, 25 with this, 15 with this. So load buses means you have the fixed P and fixed Q. You know what is the expression for P, what is the expression for PQ, or the values you know. Okay, so how much it will be? 300 minus 20 minus 25 minus 50. What is generator buses? That is PV bus. So out of 20, 1 will you kept for slack bus, because your slack bus will be 1. This out of 20 generator, 19 is generator, 1 is you kept for slack bus. Just now we have seen what is the purpose of this one. Now what are the other buses? You should see 25 buses are with reactive power supports. So reactive power support means it can it can generate any amount of reactive power. That means Q is here unlimited. You can supply whatever Q is required. That means your voltage can be fixed at that point. So which will be also a PV bus, that is generator bus, because here your reactive power support means it is like a generator. It can generate any number of reactive power. So that will be also treated like a PV buses. So 25 buses will go for PV buses. And the 15 with shunt capacitor. Shunt capacitor means you have fixed the Q. So once you have fixed the Q, you cannot change it. So once Q is fixed, then it becomes, what does it becomes? It becomes a load bus. That is PQ buses. So it becomes 15. So finally you can think your load buses are these and these. And your generator buses are, so these you remember. With reactive power support means if you are not fixing reactive power, but you are connecting something so that it can take any number of reactive power it is required, that means its voltage will be fixed, that voltage can be maintained. So it will be a PV buses. And if you have a fixed capacitor or fixed reactive power source, which is fixed amount, you cannot go beyond that, that is fixed always. This much kVAR it will always supply. So that means it will be a Q is fixed, that means it will be a PQ bus. If B is fixed, then it should be PV bus. If Q is fixed, then it should be PQ bus, because we don't have any other buses where B is fixed. We don't have any other bus Q is. Now this is the Jacobian matrix where you write the mismatch vector delta P delta Q. So if you think this one, this is actually dP d delta. I am not writing these and these. J1, J2, J3, J4 they say, and that is dQ dV. So it is Gp dV magnitude and it is dQ d delta. In FDLF what we do, we segregate, we generally don't consider these two, because we say P is not so coupled with V, Q is not so coupled with theta, so decouple it. So it becomes very easy for calculation, because these big Jacobians become small now. Now you think what is that, how many these equations you can have. So you see how many P you have, that much equations you will have, because each P, for each P one row you can write, for another P you can write one. How many columns, that you will see later. First you see this one. So how many P, you can see how many P's you know, that much equations you can write. So you can, you know 240 P here, 19 P here, 240, 19 here you don't know P, here also you don't, 25, 15. All these here you know P. So this much equations you can write, that is your 299. So this much equations you will write, so this will come. Generally it is always square, so 299 into 299 it will be. So this length will be 299, and here it is also 299. Or this also you can think how many Q is, how many P is known to you, that much equation you can write, and how many delta is unknown to you, that much columns you can write, because that will be delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, this much will be. So that will be with respect to delta 1 you do with respect to delta 2, so each one you can write it. Same P you will differentiate it so many times, so each and every column will come. So you can see only one delta is known, so all delta are unknown, so 300 into 1. So that's why this is also 299. Now if you can find this range and this range and this and this, then you can find the total range, because total will be this plus this. Now again for Q, how many Qs you know? You see 240 Qs you know, here you don't know Q, here 15 Q you know. So you know 255 Q. And how many V again? Same V you can calculate here, for each V you can differentiate. How this is known, how many Qs you know, that much equation you can write, and that much in unknown, with respect to that much you will differentiate. How many V unknown, so 240 V, or from 300 you can deduct the known V's. This is known, this is known, and this is known, that is 255. So these will go 255, 255. So total size will be 299 plus 255 from here to here. 299 plus 255, and total here it is also 299 plus 255. If it is 554 cross 554, that is your option D. Always remember in this way, don't remember formulas. The bus impedance matrix or 4 bus power system is given Z matrix. So you should know how to form Z matrix. There are different cases are there, 1, 2, 3, 4 cases are there. You have to remember for each case. That can be proved, but proof is not required. You directly know the formula, that will be good for you. A branch having an impedance of 0.2 is connected between bus 2, that is 2 in the reference. Then the value of nu Z22 nu and Z23 nu. because you are not connecting any impedance between two lines, new lines is not created. This is just a on that bus you are just connecting towards the ground, that is 0, so the size will not increase. The size will increase if you create new lines between these two, or a new bus is created, then this will be, size will increase. So what is the formula? So in this is, there are 3-4 cases are there, so you have to remember the cases. The case, if to connect one, suppose one bus you are connecting point j.2 with that node, suppose it is bus 2 you are connecting. So what is the formula? This is old z old minus 1 by z that bus z22 old plus whatever extra you are connecting, then multiplied by this row. Suppose you are connecting z old, you are connecting in 2 row, so it is second row, second column. So you remember this formula. If I apply it here, I am writing only, because they are asking only z22 new and z23 new, so I am writing only that much. Sorry, it should be 4, it should be whatever cross it is column multiplied by rows, second column multiplied by second rows, then it will be, size will be same. So first it will be column, then it will be multiplied by rows. The second column is 2860, this one 0.2860, 0.3408. I don't have space, all are connected in simple same row, so this is a single row, don't think it is another row. So then you do this product. Now because they are asking only z22 new, so I will take all care of only z22. So this will come old minus this will come now. So when this 22 will come, this is first into first, this is first row, so second column second row multiplied by second column, that is 0.3408 j multiplied by 0.3408 j. So that will give you z22 new. So you can do this calculation. If you do this one, you will find it is 1260. And if you want to go for z23 new, it will be 0.2586, and here it will be 2 multiplied by 3, 0.3408 multiplied by 0.2586. To do this one, it will be 0.0956. So this is your answer, that is your option. Next, if you come to 184, the network shown in the figure has an impedance of per unit indicated. The diagonal element y22 of the bus admittance matrix. So what will be y22? You know all the admittance that are connected with 2, that will be added. So it will be 1 by j.1 plus 1 by minus j20. So this is your option D, minus 19.9. Now if you come to 185, the Gauss-Seidel load flow method has the following disadvantages. Take the incorrect one. Okay, unreliable convergence. So the first one, when you see Gauss-Seidel is not. Gauss-Seidel reliably you can converge, reliable convergence is there. It is only that it is slow convergence. Okay, it is a slack bus choice is very important in this one Gauss-Seidel, because that will affect your convergence. It will take more and more time if you not choose proper slack bus. If you defer your choice, it will converge, but it will take lots of time. So choice of slack bus affects your convergence. A good initial guess, that is also required. If you start with a good initial value, then your convergence will come. But if you don't start with good initial values, then your convergence will not come. But if it comes, then it is reliable, it is not unreliable. So A is not correct, A is the wrong one. Generally, the main disadvantage when we say Gauss-Seidel, it comes directly in our mind is slow convergence. Rest things are also part of Gauss-Seidel. So that's why it is option A. If you like the video, then press the like button and please give your valuable comments in the comment section.